2 hours, 11 minutes, and 47 seconds. The airplane was descending at a vertical speed of 3 kilometers per minute at a 41 degrees nose-down angle. The captain was still seated in the back, not at the controls, and unaware that the side stick was being pulled down. Perhaps he didn't want to make matters worse by forcing one of the two co-pilots to yield the seat. 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 15 seconds. The pilots realized the aircraft was losing altitude rapidly. Robert pushed the side stick forward to lower the nose, but Bonin continued pulling back, so the nose remained up. 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 43 seconds. Robert took control and pushed the nose down, but the aircraft still plummeted fast. It was only 600 m above the ocean, with insufficient time to build speed by pitching down. Bonin, without warning, regained control and pulled the stick fully back. 2:15, the airplane crashed into the sea. Introduction. In June 2009, France's national airline, Air France, suffered one of the worst disasters in its history. Flight 447 plunged into the Atlantic Ocean, killing all 228 passengers and crew on board. It was unthinkable that Flight 447 could crash. Its Airbus A330 was considered the most advanced, largest, and most modern civil airliner ever built. It was likened to the Titanic of the skies, a symbol of seemingly unbeatable perfection, yet was brought down utterly without warning. The findings from the investigation were not only shocking, but opened up a labyrinth of unanswered questions. What truly occurred in the final moments of that fateful flight? What shattered this icon of aviation? Was it merely human error, or something more sinister at play? Let's return to that moment and uncover the mystery of the Titanic of the skies. Flight details. Air France Flight 447, AF447/AFR 447, was an international passenger flight from Rio de Janeiro, Galeão International Airport in Brazil to Paris, Charles de Gaulle Airport in France. Flight duration, 11 hours, 15 minutes. Distance covered, 9,160 kilometers. Aircraft and crew, the Air France Airbus A330, Flight AF447, was carrying 216 passengers and was piloted by 58-year-old Captain Mark Noble, who joined the airline in 1988 and had 10,988 flight hours, including 6,258 hours as captain and 1,700 hours on the A330. First Officer David Robert, 37, joined in 1998 and had 6,547 flight hours for 1,479 on the A330. Second Officer, co-pilot, name unclear, translated as Pediasure Exponent, 32, joined in 2003 with 2,936 hours total, 807 on the A330. Sequence of events leading to the accident. June 1st, 2009, 1:36 Universal Time Coordinated. The aircraft entered a region of severe weather, a tropical storm. Other flights changed course, but the AF447 crew did not. Due to higher-than-expected outside temperatures and full fuel load, the aircraft could not climb to avoid the storm. 02:00. First Officer Robert returned to the cockpit. Captain Du Bois gave up his seat to Robert, but allowed the less experienced Bonin to control the aircraft. 2:02. The captain went to sleep. 2:05. Robert told a flight attendant to inform passengers they were approaching bad weather. 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 50 seconds. Pilots activated the anti-icing system. 2 hours and 7 minutes. Robert noticed the weather radar was misconfigured. Adjusting it revealed intense turbulence ahead. 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 7 seconds. The speed sensors iced up, triggering a 2.2-second alarm, disconnecting autopilot, and generating a stall warning, which was false then. 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 7 seconds. Bonin pulled back on the side stick to pitch the nose up to climb, though the plane physically couldn't climb due to the high outside temperature, which the pilots had discussed. Pitching up reduced speed and lift suddenly. At that moment, they should have pushed the nose down to regain speed, but they did the opposite, perhaps believing that weather below was more dangerous than above, or following the guidance of the flight director. 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 16 seconds. The aircraft was climbing at 7,000 FPM and losing speed. 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 27 seconds. Robert told Bonin to descend because of an excessive altitude climb warning. 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 35 seconds. One of the speed sensors began working again. 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 41 seconds. Robert realized the emergency. Pressed the captain call button. Bonin was still pulling back. Normally, the plane systems would prevent pilot inputs that risk a stall, but with manual control engaged, protections were disabled. Aviation experts say Bonin had never been trained for this kind of manual flying. He assumed the warning was false and didn't realize protections were off. 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 55 seconds. The final speed sensor resumed functioning, and all systems were normal again. The alarm was valid. The stall alarm sounded 75 times, and both pilots ignored it. Bonin continued treating the aircraft as if it were on the ground, pitching up to reach takeoff speed. But at 12 kilometers altitude, the air is thin, engines produce less thrust, and lift is reduced. 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 21 seconds. Robert still didn't know Bonin was pulling down his stick. Airbus side sticks are independent. One pilot doesn't feel the other's inputs. 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 43 seconds. The captain returned to the cockpit. 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 47 seconds. The aircraft was descending at 3 kilometers per minute vertically with a 41 degrees nose-down attitude. The captain remained seated in the back, unaware the stick was pulled down, likely not wanting to make matters worse by forcing one co-pilot to give up the seat. 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 15 seconds. The pilots realized the aircraft was diving. Robert pushed forward to lower the nose, but Bonin's pull kept the nose up. 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 43 seconds. Robert seized control and pitched down, but the descent continued rapidly. At 600 m altitude, there wasn't enough time to accelerate by diving. Without warning, Bonin again regained control and pulled the stick fully back. 2:15, the plane crashed into the ocean. Post-crash discoveries. June 2nd, 2009. Brazilian Air Force aircraft spotted debris in the ocean, but said it was not from AF-447. France sent the research vessel Pourquoi Pas, with 2 mini-submarines capable of diving to 6,000 m, to search near the crash site at depths up to 4,700 m. June 6, 2009. 2 bodies in a suitcase containing a boarding pass from Flight 447 were recovered by Brazil. June 7, 2009. Brazilian Air Force found 3 more bodies. April 3, 2011. Large wreckage pieces from AF-447 were finally located in the Atlantic. May 1, 2011. Almost 2 years after crash, a submarine recovered the flight data recorder from 3,900 m deep. May 4, 2011. The cockpit voice recorder was recovered. June 7, 2011. Rescuers recovered 154 of the 228 victims. July 5, 2012. The final report concluded the aircraft crashed after sudden speed variations, autopilot disengaged, and the crew responded incorrectly, placing the plane in an aerodynamic stall. Additional findings and reforms. The cockpit voice recording revealed the captain admitted he slept only 1 hour the night before, after staying up late with his girlfriend, who was also on the flight. He was criticized for leaving the 2 co-pilots in control during bad weather. After AF-447, airlines revised pilot training to mandate manual flight proficiency throughout every flight, ensure understanding of flight director parameters, and designate a specific person in charge when the captain is absent. Airbus issued immediate guidelines directing pilots to disable the flight director upon a speed sensor failure and alerted airlines never to follow its guidance in such conditions. Investigators noted that once the autopilot dropped out, pilots should have cross-checked engine thrust, altitude, and other parameters. Instead of reverting to basic airmanship, they trusted automation too heavily. Passengers and crew. There were 228 people on board, 3 pilots and 9 cabin crew, 1 infant under 7 years old, 7 children, 82 women, and 126 men. According to official Air France data, most passengers were Brazilian or French nationals. A partial passenger manifest was released on June 2nd and 3rd, 2009.